72 hours, goddamn, I'm feeling amazing. Damn, I'm in the matrix. My mind is living on cloud nine, and this line is never on vacation. Start up that Maserati and
Hey, what up guys, Horcrux here. This is my 8th attempt at trying to do this build video, so hopefully I get it right this time. Welcome to the channel. This is my Immortal Magicka DK PvP build for the Greymoor patch. This is going to be the last DK build that I put out because I'm going to be focusing on other match classes. Obviously you're not Immortal, but the amount of tankiness, survivability, and sustain that we have on this build is fucking amazing, guys. It's using a set that's super underutilized. I think a lot of people overread it in the patch notes because it was a set that's in the game, but it's been recently changed for the better. We're in a light armor, but we're still able to pull off 30k resistances. So you're pretty much a tank in your light armor. You know what that means? We'll be doing hella damage. Some analytics for you guys. 88% of you fellas are not subscribed, so please, much love, fellas. Subscribe to the channel. I will be streaming later, so enable the notification button while you're there so you can see this build live in action. Make ESO great again. Subscribe to Horcrux. Thank you. Character sheet, everything fully unbuffed. 40k max, 20k health. You can bolster these however you want. This is why I feel comfortable running. Back bar, I'll show you how we get our 30k resistances and our insane amount of health recovery. Check it out, 2500 health recovery goes to 2800 in Cyrodiil. Spoiler is 30k, physical is 27k. And just to make sure we have all of our bases covered, I'm going to run over here and get our spell damage going as well. We are using the Alliance spell drop pots for the most part on the build, so you can just buy them in Cyrodiil. Yeah, character sheet, there we go. There's our 3k, critical resist through the roof. So you got a solid stat sheet. So what the fuck are we running? Well, first of all, we're Dark Elf. Dark Elf is, in my opinion, best in slot in DK. The passives are super good. You're immune to other burning sass effects, which means when you're going up against another DK, you're going to dick them down. Gives you stamina, just overall the best. You can run Breton, High Elf, but I found most success on Dark Elf. If you want a little bit more tankiness, a little bit more sustained, you can go with Breton. As far as a High Elf, I would probably put that as third tier. So Dark Elf, Breton, High Elf would be my order. Or possibly, if you really wanted to, you could run Nord, but that's neither here nor there. Bewitched Sugar Skulls, super cheap, really efficient to what we want. We want a lot of health recovery. This does that, gives stamina. We need that. Running the Mage Mundus, you can compare this to the Apprentice. It's pretty much the same damage, but having the extra max Mag really helps out our sustain. I'm trying to keep this short and sweet, guys, so bear with me. First step we're running Elfbane. You do not have to run Elfbane on this build. There's an alternative setup you could run. I prefer Elfbane because it stacks so well with Grothgar, which we're also running, and Talons. This more than doubles the effects of Talons, which is one of the most useful skills in our kits, so that's why I'm running Elfbane. I would actually run Elfbane just for the Talons increase, to be honest. That's how much I value that skill. I'm running the Charge Straight weapon. Enchantment, you can either run Poisons or Spell Damage Enchantment. I tried other ones. This one works overall the best because it helps with your healing as well as your damage. Like I said, Charge, very important. Running a Restoration, Stat Back Bar, Defending. Absorb Magic, Enchant, just because I like to over-sustain. We are running a Resto. It's important that you run a Resto on this build. That's how you get your extreme tankiness and survivability. If you do not want to run Elfbane, however, another good alternative is Overwhelming. This is really good. You farm this in Tempest Isle, you can go normal, blow through this in like 10 minutes tops. What this does compared to Elfbane, yeah, Grothgar doesn't last as long. That's okay. But what this does is it gives us a little bit more sustain, and it also procs minor vulnerability on pretty much everyone around us because of the lightning AoE, and because we're running a charge Inferno staff as well. You're going to have minor vulnerability up on all your targets, increasing your damage by 8%. So, but looking at these, the damage difference between Elfbane and Overwhelming Surge is very minimal. I do notice a little bit more damage on Elfbane overall. Just assuming you can keep your targets in the Grothgar shit for the entire time. But the extra sustain you get from Overwhelming and the little bit of damage it does, it really helps as well. So both of these kind of go hand in hand. It's just a matter of your play style. Alright, spend enough time on that. Grothgar, like I said, I'm running Impin on everything ideally. I'm probably going to swap this one to either Reinforced or Impin. Last set we're running is Ordnum Scales, so I'll let you guys read it. Essentially, when you get below 60% health, you turn into a demigod, and you get insane health recovery, as well as physical and spell resistance, which that equates to about 12% damage mitigation. That's how we're able to get such high resistances on our character sheet. It's important to have this on both bars. I tried this running just the back bar and just Elfbane front bar and all kinds of combinations with the Malacanth ring, but the fact of the matter is you need to be tanky on your front bar as well as your back bar in DK, because on a DK a lot of times you have to risk it for the biscuit. And when you swap to your front bar, if you only have this on your back bar, you're losing a lot of tankiness, you're losing a lot of healing when you're below 60% health. So I found that it's best just to have this on both bars, so you don't have to worry about that. We are running 5-1-1, 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy, just for max and Dawn passives. Got a sturdy one here. You can toss on sturdy, well-fitted, Impin. All that's really good on this build. I do have max Maz on everything. If you want to tank up a little bit, have a bit more stamina sustain, you can run Triglyphs. Entirely up to you on the big pieces. Jewelry, run 2 spell damage, 1 magic recovery. Magic recovery is best on light armor because if you try to run a cost reduction, the enchantment is diminished proportionally based on the amount of percent cost reduction that you get from passives such as light armor, such as Breton. It may not show it on the tooltip, but when you actually go to the skills and take a look at the mana cost before and after application, you can see that there's definitely a diminishing return on that. So on light armor, run magic recovery. On heavy armor, run reduced cost, in my opinion. Spell damage, just because I have so much sustain, I don't know what to do with. So fuck it, more damage. Also helps with healing with the spell damage. That quickly does it for the setup. So we're going to go to the skills quickly as well. Ellie Drain, this helps for prolonged fights, helps with our sustain, squishes up heavy resistance targets, very good. Fossilize, if you're not running this, it's probably one of the best CCs in the game. I suggest doing so. Burning Talons, like I said, this is a super OP ability when you combine it with Elfbane. It more than doubles the effect, the dot that it gives you. It's everyone big ass AoE, goes through row dodge, does initial damage. It's a CC all by itself. It procs Power Lash. It's fucking phenomenal. One of the best skills in the DK kit. Flame Lash, don't run Molten Whip. If you do, good luck with that. Run Power Lash, you definitely need the healing. More healing, the better. Engulfing Flames increases the amount of flame damage. Your enemies will take about 10%. It will go 10%, it's 9%, but everything's buffed and whatever. It goes to 10%, trust me. It does, like I said, it does a lot of damage over time. Does initial tick as well. Goes through roll dodge. I'm trying to have this up on a lot of people. The fact that it's 19 seconds with Elfbane means you can hit people and they run away and kite you or whatever. Well, good news is it's still going to proc the burning status effect on them. You know, even when they're like running away or whatever. So you're getting extra resources from them not even being there. Really good skill. Back bar. Rapid regeneration. This goes up to 22k on our back bar, over 5 seconds, fully buffed up. Coagulate blood. It's not a dog shit heal when you run a resto staff, including the vitality pots we're going to be using. This also gives the access to major fortitude, which bolsters our health recovery, which this is really high health recovery build, so this is pretty much essential. Dragonfire scale. This pretty much is the same amount of damage as not cauterized, but the Flames of Oblivion proc. Also mitigates all incoming projectiles by 50%. Absolutely invaluable on DK. You gotta run this, not the other one. This one is able to help squishing up your targets. And then with your leap on your front bar, which we didn't go over, I'll discuss right now. This is our gap closer. Does a lot of damage. This is just to finish off targets, essentially. You can run standard if you want. Or hell, or even Eye of the Storm, because that pairs with your Elfbane as well. But either Ferocious Leap or Standard. If you're in group play Standard, if you're by yourself, go Ferocious Leap. Engulfing Flames. Volatile Armor. Does damage. I actually apply this every 10 seconds because it does do a pretty decent dot over 10 seconds as well. Pretty large ass AoE. It's the same as Overwhelming Surge. Last on our bar, some more Elixir Flex Spot. I love Channel Acceleration. Not only does it give you Major Expedition, which DKs are lacking mobility big time. It helps with that. Gives us more crit damage for light armor, not running a mallet ring, so you can crit and you do hella damage. But the last thing to note about why it's so good, obviously this concentrated bear when you block you a small damage shield, but the deliberation, when you're casting it, you get major protection, reducing your damage taken by 30%. You can actually use this as a form of just burst mitigation. Right after a CC immune, like as soon as you break a CC, pop it a rapid regen, and hell, even if you don't need it, just pop this. You know, you're going to be taking an additional 30% less damage on your back bar, and your healing is just through the roof anyway if you're low. So you're pretty much unkillable for the next 5 seconds. You don't even have to finish casting this, you can just fake cast it. And while you're channeling, you're taking a lot of reduced damage. This will help with your stamina sustain because you don't have to worry about roll dodge or blocking as much. It is a kind of a high skill cap maneuver. It will take a little bit of practice to get the hang of. Don't try to do the same strategy when your CC immunity is down. You will get dicked down, and not in a good way. Last but not least, on our back bar, you can either run Magma Shell if you're running Elfbane. If you're not running Elfbane, you're running Overwhelming Surge. I would definitely go with Temporal Guard. This gives you a minor protection on your back bar. It's just a further tank up a little bit. Like I say, if you're running Elfbane, I would probably run this instead. It's 18 seconds of immortality, and you can literally tank a Zerg and kill a lot of people in it during the duration. Just pop a rapid regen and just marinate kids in your dots. You're very unlikely you're going to die. Alternatively, if you don't have access to Sigil Order skill line, you could toss on Cauterize instead of the channel acceleration. That's perfectly fine too. And like I said, your other ult, if you have Elfbane, instead of Temporal Guard, you could run Magma Shell as well. It's pretty good. Pots we're running, like I said, we're running Alliance Spell Drought. We just used the last one, so I can't show you what those guys are. You just buy them in cereal vendors. They give you the crit that you need on both bars. It gives you a major sorcery, major intellect. The other pots we're running, Essence of Detection for Nightblades. And what really makes this build good is the Essence of Speed pots. These are a little expensive. By a little bit, I mean a lot. Uses Major Expedition as well. You get Major Fatality, and you get Minor Heroism. Having Heroism and Vitality on DK is fucking incredible, guys. It's fucking incredible. The reason we'd run these and not the there's another essence of whatever pots. Instead of Major Expedition, gives you lingering health, but I feel Major Expedition is just better. If you did run those pots, they're very expensive. I will go ahead and reiterate that. Very pricey. You need access to a major sorcery buff somewhere on your bar. Doesn't matter where. You can use Molten Ornaments or Degeneration. Entirely up to you. It just really depends on what you have access to. I like to go cheap, so this is the setup I run for cheap with the Alliance Spell Drought. If you don't want to go cheap, put a major sorcery buff here and run the expensive ass pots. Okay, got that out of the way. I'm not going to go over the passives. You guys should know this shit by now. It's been out for 6 years. If you are new to the channel, I have other build videos that go more in depth in the passives. I can link them in the description. That's no problem. Next, or probably lastly, we're just going to go over the CP. Keep in mind I'm only 629 on my PC account, so don't take these to heart. CP is kind of just, it's really not important for min-maxing in my opinion. It's more or less rounding off a build. So here's what the blue tree looks like. Blue tree is pretty good. 7 here, 28 here. When you get max CP, I'd toss the rest of your points in Elfborn, Spell Erosion. These are the two. The rest of the trees are just preference. Don't put any points into Thaumaturge. Don't do this Exploiter passive bullshit. It's dumb. Grothgar, Scaled Off, Master at Arms, Ellie Expert, Spell Erosion. Just FYI. Red trees really doesn't matter. 20% here, crit resist, and then just everything else here. Get this up to about 10%, and then everything else into this tree. 20% for 1. Value point here. It just applies the debuff that your enemy healers have to accidentally purge, so it could help. Doesn't actually do anything. It just applies the debuff. Arcanist, get this up to 10%. This already 10%. Get these up to 20%, and then whatever points you have left over, toss them into Sprinter. And that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. Most of you guys only watch 6 minutes and 33 seconds of this video anyway. So, with that being said, I will be streaming this today. So subscribe, guys, if you want to be notified for that. I'm not sure when. Probably after this video gets uploaded, so my computer doesn't take a shit while I'm trying to render this. So this has been Horcrux with his Immortal Magicka DK build for the Greymoor patch. I hope you guys enjoy it. The Organum set is very, very good. You can turn essentially a light armor build into a heavy armor build. It's very nice. You can also run heavy armor. Since this is a crafted set, you could potentially run heavy armor as well. I do have both of them crafted, to be honest. I tried them both out. And I don't really notice too much of a difference. I do notice when I'm running heavy armor, my sustain's a little bit more ass. But at the same time, I am a little bit more tanky. So it's just kind of your play style. You know, kind of trade off that you want to play, do. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. Stay safe out there, guys, and deuces.